All right, joining us for more on this developing story, our two guests, Lieutenant General P.R. Shankar, retired, and senior journalist Ms. Chitra Subramaniam. General Shankar is a former Director General Artillery of the Indian Army, and Ms. Subramaniam is a senior journalist and political commentator based in Geneva, Switzerland. General Shankar, Ms. Subramaniam, welcome to DD India News Hour. Straight off the bat, General Shankar, did you get a chance to hear the Foreign Secretary's briefing there?
Yeah, I heard it.
If yes, what did you make of those 5 key decisions from that important Cabinet Committee on Security meeting?
I think they're very good decisions already taken. This is the first lot of decisions. I expect more action to be taken as we go along. There will be a lot of direct actions, there will be indirect actions, there will be kinetic and non-kinetic actions. This is only the beginning, right? And there will be also some short-term actions, and we need to also take some long-term actions, because we can't let this thing keep going on. So I think for a first off the bat, this is damn good, and it is required, and this will give the right message to Pakistan and also the rest of the world. Remember, holding Indus Water Treaty in abeyance is a big thing. It's not small, right? It will shake people up. But having said that, I think we need to go beyond this. The fundamental thing we have to realize is this whole problem is 3-layered. And this 3 layers, one is what is internal to us in Kashmir. The second is the status of POK and Gilgit-Balochistan. And then the rest of Pakistan. And the rest of Pakistan, you have to be very clear that you're talking of the Pakistan army, because between the Pakistan army and Pakistan, there's no dividing line. Okay. And I think this is also the time, from a long-term perspective, we start, taking steps to get back POK. And these steps are not military in nature. These are diplomatic, political, and other things. There are many things which we can do. While there is no case for us to get into a war with Pakistan, but there are a lot of other things which we can do to stretch the Pakistan army and make it pay. And just make them deploy and redeploy, because they would already be doing all that. Already from what I could make out in social media and other media, they have already rushed troops from 11 Corps and 12 Corps from the Afghanistan border across to India. They have put PAF on high alert. They're fearing some kind of a cross-border action which can take place in the next 24 to 48 or even 72 hours. So they'll be doing all this.
Okay.
Don't let them off the hook. Put pressure on them. Make them deploy, redeploy, and spend money which they can't afford. And we can do everything. We can also start rethinking of whether to, reheat the LOC up.
Okay.
Start cross-border punitive strikes against and non-contact punitive strikes along the LLC. So I think these are broad things at this point of time.
Fair enough.
There are more to come.
Okay.
And this is, I think, the way. But the major thing is, I don't think we should go back from here. We should have long-term solutions.
Fair enough. Point taken.
That's the thing, the way I look at it. We can have more views, and then we can discuss further.
Absolutely. Ms. Subramaniam, General Shankar seems to suggest that that this should be seen as the first tranche or installment of many more measures to come, including the kinetic option, political, diplomatic, economic countermeasures, number 1. Number 2, all options remain very much on the table. To my mind, this should be seen as a good opening gambit in a game of chess, as it were. More needs to be done, obviously, including, as General Shankar says, the option of reclaiming POK. Your thoughts, or your initial thoughts on those 5 key decisions, and do you favor a swift and strong retribution going forward?
Well, yeah, thank you. And I think
Welcome.
The General makes very valid points. We have to go, welcome what his thoughts are. But the response has to be consequential to what has happened. People are dead. There's been an open dare to the Prime Minister saying, Modi ko bolo. What does that mean? That means that you come looking for us, right? And if you look at, I'm just thinking of what once President Macron had said, when there had been Charlie Hebdo or Bataclan and subsequently terrorist attacks in Paris, he had said, "Nous allons vous chercher chez vous," which is loosely translates into "Ghar mein ghus ke marenge." You know, I mean, a nation is in shock. We are in grief, and you know, if you are threatening my prime minister to say Modi ko bolo, by extension, you are threatening me as well, right? Because we have elected you. So yes, I mean, several things have to happen. I'm sure a lot of experts are thinking as to what to do. Meetings, yes. Diplomatic action, yes. But I think the nation is looking for something much more dramatic, not dramatic, much more solid, of making these people pay.
Ms. Subramaniam, by consequential, are you suggesting thereby that you're looking for a disproportionate and unacceptable response to impose costs on Pakistan, hurt Pakistan where it hurts them the most?
Yes. There's nothing disproportional when you've come into my country and you have slaughtered innocent people. There is nothing disproportionate in seeking justice for that. Yes.
Okay.
You know, hurt them where it really hurts, because you have come you've come into my country and you have said you have slaughtered innocent people. Yes. Consequential. Yes. You know, go and get them where it hurts the most.
Fair enough. Point taken, Ms. Subramaniam. General Shankar, do you think an attack of this nature, like we saw in Pahalgam just about 24 odd hours ago, could have been carried out without the involvement of state actors in Pakistan?
Out of question. Let me put it this way. You know, Pahalgam is deep, about 200-300 kilometers away from, you know, the L3. This is not a action which is taken on the L3 and small insertion. This is a deep insertion, well planned, fully supported by locals, certain locals, not all locals. And it's a thing where they've chosen the target very carefully. If you look at Pahalgam and where this attack has actually happened, it is inaccessible by road. You know, the police go up, or it's only by foot. So they've had enough time to get away. And this is a well-trained team. So in terms of this action, it's not easy. This plan would have been put in place probably a month or two before. I'm very clear of that, because it takes that time to go infiltrate, carry out reconnaissance, and then execute your plan and execute a getaway. And the way these chaps have done it, I don't know whether we'll be able to get hold of these 3 or 4 guys, or maybe more, who were hiding. So it's a well-executed plan and by well-trained people, something similar to what happened in Bombay. In Bombay, it happened through the sea route, and here it has come overland, and with a major message which Mrs. Chitra Subramaniam put out, that look, hum aapko na, go tell Modi we can hit you where you want. So to that extent, I think they've crossed the Rubicon, and we need to respond accordingly. But at the same time, we don't have to respond emotionally. We need to respond coolly, with cool heads, and professionally and systematically. That's why I said there are a certain amount of short-term measures which we have taken. What has come out so far is a short-term measure. There are certain kinetic actions which we can do on a short-term basis. You can be punitive across the LOC with through non-contact methods and hit them where it counts. There are places, right? I'm sure the army knows what to do about these things. But it's the long-term things which we have to now start unfolding. Look, let's not get emotional and say, look, let's do a Balakot on them again and all that. We must realize that whenever we did the surgical strikes and Balakot and, high-profile actions, they would seem high-profile for that point of time. But beyond that, the effect on Pakistan has not been too much. So you have to do some things which are beyond this, right? And I think that's the way to go forward. Like I said, think through with a cool mind. From what it was from, say, what happened in Pulwama, or for that matter, what happened in Uri, today you're diplomatically better off, you're militarily better off, and you're economically much better off. And you are a counted member of the Committee of Nations, and people respect you. So to that extent, you already have the world opinion on our side. And I think this is something which we need to use intelligently to seek long-term solutions. And these long-term solutions are diplomatic, they're political, they're military, and everything. Everything is on the cards. And this, everything on the cards should be a ceaseless affair. The danger which I see is in India, when we do 2-3 high-profile actions, we feel, oh, we've done the whole thing and everything then goes back to normal. We have to be ceaseless. Also, we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that, look, we need to start putting pressure on China. And why I'm saying pressure on China? Do I rule the Chinese intent out on this? I don't. Remember, the same Chinese, today the Chinese ambassador has also put out a tweet, condoling this and, saying something about this attack and all that. But it is the same Chinese people who exercised their veto and did not let LET to be put on the list of terrorist organizations, or did not let Hafiz Syed be put as a terrorist, right? So I think we have to look at it three-dimensionally and do what is in the best interest of our nation.
Right.
And like I said again, there's no point in being emotional about it. There's no point in saying, okay, since he has done this, I will do it. We need to do what we have to do at a time, place, and event of our choosing, method of our choosing. It cannot be reactive. We need to be proactive. And I think the time has come when India has to be proactive with Pakistan hereafter. And Pakistan should not even, we need to go the full distance. This is what I've had to say. Any more questions? I'm prepared to take them on.
Right. So as General Shankar is pointing out, India should adopt a clinical approach as opposed to getting emotional. Clinical approach, the die has been cast, he seems to suggest, and that is a matter of time before more measures start rolling out. If I can take that question or thought to Ms. Subramaniam. Ms. Subramaniam, a so-called proxy called the Resistance Front, or TRF, claims responsibility for the Pahalgam attack. Now, the TRF is nothing but a proxy or an affiliate of the LET or the Jamaat-ud-Dawa. It does not absolve Pakistan of guilt. That said, as someone who lives in the West and looks at Western media reports on terrorism worldwide, why do you think the West shies away from calling Pakistan's bluff? As General Shankar was pointing out, this happened when the Prime Minister of India was visiting Saudi Arabia and the Vice President of the US was visiting India. These two countries, to begin with, should have made or gone beyond lip service to actually call Pakistan's bluff. So what makes them shy away from doing so?
Because the West likes to needle India. I mean, let's just be very clear about this. I mean, we are a large democracy in the region, the largest in the world. We live in a very volatile area. We are growing. We are growing at just before that, 6.1%. We are one of the only economies which are growing. Nobody likes a successful country. Let's not beat around the bush. They like to needle India, and they know that China is also needling us. So to answer your question, like the gentleman said, we are now becoming more and more visible, but with increased visibility comes increased responsibility. And we are turning to the Prime Minister to protect us at a time of great difficulties for us. It's one thing for the economy to grow. I mean, now for all practical purposes, I'm sure the economy in Kashmir will be hit, the people will be hit. But the West doesn't want India to grow. I mean, let's put this down very clearly. It's a huge country. That it is successful. India's markets are growing, and they like to needle India. I mean, this is as simple as that. And we live, as I said, in a very volatile region. When you look around countries around us, prime ministers, presidents, so many have been assassinated. And what is the interest that Pakistan has what is the interest as the West? And I'm saying, I suppose, Washington or London, what is their interest in calling out Pakistan? They have no interest. They'll continue to needle us. And we have to stop looking for help from all these countries. We have to stop. We are no longer an addendum to, we have to stop looking for any kind of help, I'm saying diplomatic or anything from them. Once you turn that, we've got to stop asking for them to recognize our issues. They need us more than we need them. And that conversation has to happen. That thing has to happen, especially after what happened in Pahalgam. I don't want to belabor the point, but, we have been threatened in our own backyard. I mean, it's a dare. It's to dare the whole country. And like the gentleman said, this has, the instructions have not come. The instructions have come from top, from Islamabad. And, like there are no pony. I mean, I've been reading stuff. These are very, very difficult terrains. They must have planned it. At least they have been very clearly planned. They know tourists have come. Tourists will be coming in this time. This is not an off the thing. And before, I think we've got to, when I said consequential,
right.
I think we've got to give them no time to turn around. We've just got to go hit it. That's it.
Indeed.
And I keep talking about what Macron said, nous allons vous chercher chez vous, which is we'll come and find you in your house.
Indeed. I would have loved to continue this conversation, but I'm afraid that's all we have time for. I will have to leave it at that. May I thank both our guests, Ms. Chitra Subramaniam and Lieutenant General P.R. Shankar, for joining us and sharing your thoughts with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.